This fanfiction story is an original work created and scripted entirely from my own imagination. It is made solely for entertainment purposes and is not intended to harm or disrespect any idols mentioned. This fan-
Yeah, 쏘ᴜᴛ, just let me catch you once. You glanced back over your shoulder while sprinting, sticking your tongue out at him. It only made him fume more, spurring him to pick up his pace right behind you. So what exactly did you do to get Park Sunghoon this worked up? Long story short, your coffee had slipped right out of your hand and landed squarely on him while he was sitting in the dorm's common lounge, wearing his absolute favorite shirt. Sunbae, I swear I didn't do it deliberately. It was a pure accident, you yelled back. Saying it in a teasing tone only added fuel to the fire. Sunghoon suddenly accelerated, closing the distance between you in a flash. He grabbed your wrist, spun you around, and trapped you against the wall, effectively cornering you. So, what were you saying? It isn't your fault, Sunghoon breathed out, a dangerous edge to his voice. You managed to spill it right on my t-shirt while I was minding my own business in the corner. It was so accurate it felt aimed. You couldn't bring yourself to look up. He was standing entirely too close, forcing an awkward laugh to escape your lips. Hey, Sunbae, you know how clumsy I am, right? You joked, trying to lighten the mood. I know I cause a lot of trouble, but doing this on purpose would be a bit too extreme, wouldn't it? I'm not that bad of a person. Sunghoon smirked, leaning in. Oh, really? I didn't know you were that innocent and nice. But what can we do? Sadly, you're wearing the exact right outfit for the occasion. You froze. Your inner prankster instantly vanished as you slowly looked down at yourself, suddenly realizing exactly what he was implying. You were wearing a pristine, bright white top. And no. Wait, you panicked, hands flying up. I am so sorry, okay? Yeah, it was my fault. I did it on purpose.
Ignoring your plea, he stepped even closer, intentionally reducing the distance, so his wet, coffee-stained shirt was inches from your white top.
Yeah. Hold on, you shrieked, pressing yourself flat against the wall. If this gets stained, it'll take me years to get it out. And honestly, your t-shirt is literally brown anyway. The coffee isn't even visible. Sunghoon raised an eyebrow, his smirk widening dangerously. What did you just say? Sorry. I said sorry. The tension in the hallway was thick enough to cut with a knife. Sunghoon's smirk widened as he leaned in, deliberately threatening your pristine white top with his damp coffee-stained shirt. You shut your eyes tight, bracing for impact and mentally preparing to mourn your favorite outfit.
Thump, thump, thump. The heavy synced sound of footsteps coming down the nearby dorm stairs suddenly echoed through the corridor.
Well, look what we have here, a deeply amused, mocking voice called out. Sunghoon froze instantly. Your eyes snapped open to see Jake and Nikki standing at the bottom of the staircase. Both of them had their arms crossed, their eyebrows raised so high they practically met their hairlines, and matching, teasing smirks plastered across their faces. Am I interrupting a passionate hug, or is Sunghoon finally trying to execute his revenge plan? Nikki asked, his eyes gleaming with mischievous delight as he looked at how closely pinned you were to the wall. Jake let out a low whistle, leaning casually against the banister. I don't know, Nikki. From this angle, it looks like a scene straight out of a K-drama. Should we leave you two alone? Or... The sheer embarrassment hit both of you at the same time. Sunghoon scrambled backwards so fast he nearly tripped over his own feet, coughing clears to regain his composure, while his ears turned a bright, telling shade of crimson. It's not what it looks like, Sunghoon snapped, frantically gesturing to his shirt. She spilled coffee all over my favorite clothes. I was just trying to ruin her shirt in return? Sure, Hyung, let's go with that, Nikki interrupted, walking past the two of you with a knowing chuckle, making sure to bump Sunghoon's shoulder playfully. You finally breathed a sigh of relief, sliding down the wall slightly now that the danger to your white top had passed. You looked at Jake, sending him a silent plea for backup. Jake just laughed, shaking his head as he followed Nikki down the hall. You're lucky we walked in, YN. But Sunghoon, you might want to go change before that stain sets into your skin. Sunghoon quickly took a sharp step back, creating a very generous and very obvious amount of space between the two of you to keep Nikki and Jake from getting any more suspicious. He cleared his throat, running a hand through his hair to brush it back and try to salvage whatever dignity he had left. Once he felt he looked appropriately nonchalant, he turned his gaze back to you. His face contorted into a crooked, frustrated scowl, as he pointed a threatening finger in your direction.
"You're lucky," he muttered, his voice a low warning hiss so the other two wouldn't overhear. "You are so lucky that I'm letting you off the hook right now. Consider yourself saved by the miracle." With one final dramatic glare, he turned on his heel and started stomping off toward his dorm room to change, still grumbling under his breath about the coffee stain. The next morning, you found yourself staring blankly at the professor, the lecture completely blurring into background noise. Instead of focusing on the notes you were supposed to be taking, your mind kept wandering back to the chaotic events of yesterday. Every time you remembered Sunghoon's genuinely frustrated face over his favorite shirt, a wave of guilt hit you. Sunghoon was in his final year of university, a full 3 years ahead of you, while you were only a sophomore in your second year.
Jake was also in that senior batch, which explained why they were always together. Miki, on the other hand, was your age and in your exact same batch, though he had been incredibly close with Sunghoon since long before college. To make matters worse, Sunghoon wasn't even on campus today. Miki had mentioned earlier that he had traveled back to his parents' place for a family gathering. The moment the dismissal bell rang, you packed your bags at lightning speed. You caught up with Miki in the crowded hallway just as he was sling-bagging his backpack over his shoulder. "Miki, wait up," you called out, jogging to catch up with your classmate. Miki turned around, an amused smirk already playing on his lips. "Well, if it isn't the coffee assassin, what's up? Sunghoon isn't here today for you to terrorize." "I know, and that's exactly why I need your help," you sighed, giving him a pleading look. "Look, I actually feel really guilty about ruining his favorite shirt. Can you please come with me to the clothing mall right now? I want to buy him a replacement, but since you've known him for so long, you're the only one who knows his exact size and style." Miki raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised by your sudden attack of conscience toward their strict senior. Then a mischievous glint sparked in his eyes. "You're actually buying Hyun a gift?" Miki chuckled, turning to walk with you toward the campus gates. "Wow, YN, I didn't know you cared so much. Fine, I'll come, but under one condition, you have to buy me ice cream at the mall for being your personal stylist." As the two of you walked toward the campus gates, Miki suddenly skidded to a halt. His eyebrows furrowed tightly, and he turned to look at you with a completely baffled expression. "Wait," Miki blinked, staring at you. "Did you just say you don't know his size or his style?" "Yeah," you said, shrugging guiltily.
I mean, I know he likes neutral colors, but I don't want to guess his size and get it wrong. Why are you looking at me like that?" Miki opened his mouth to say something, stopped, and just stared at you for a solid 5 seconds. A mix of pure disbelief and sheer amusement washed over his face. He cleared his throat, a slow, highly amused smirk creeping back onto his face as he shook his head. "Oh, nothing," Miki said, chuckling to himself as he started walking again. The next afternoon, you were standing by your dorm room window, staring aimlessly outside when a familiar figure caught your eye. Down in the garden area, between the dorm buildings, Sunghoon was taking a quiet walk all by himself. He must have just gotten back from his parents' place. This is it, your only chance. Panicking that he might head inside before you could catch him, you grabbed the shopping bag off your desk, threw on your shoes, and bolted out the door. You practically sprinted down the stairs and burst through the dorm exit into the crisp afternoon air, scanning the garden until you spotted him. "Sunghoon Sunbae," you called out, slowing down to a quick walk as you approached him, trying desperately to catch your breath so you wouldn't look completely frantic. Sunghoon stopped in his tracks and turned around. When he saw it was you, his expression instantly shifted into a guarded, amused smirk, his hands sliding casually into his pockets. "Well, look who it is. Come to finish the job and spill something else on me?" No, I'm not here to attack you," you said, your cheeks flushing as you awkwardly held out the shopping bag toward him, extending your arms fully so there was maximum distance between you. Sunghoon looked at the neatly wrapped bag, then up at your face, one of his eyebrows arching up in pure confusion. "What's this?" "It's an apology," you mumbled, looking everywhere but at his eyes. "I felt really bad about ruining your favorite shirt, so I made Miki drag me to the mall to get you a replacement. I hope it fits." Sunghoon didn't take the bag right away. Instead, he just stared at it, and then a very strange, unreadable expression crossed his face.
a mix of utter disbelief and a suppressed laugh. "You bought me a replacement?" he asked, his voice dropping into a lower, amused tone. "Yes, so just take it before my arms fall off," you complained, shoving the bag a little closer to his chest. Sunghoon squinted his eyes at you, refusing to touch the bag. Instead of taking it, he took a slow step closer, leaning in slightly with a look of extreme suspicion. "Is it actually safe?" he asked, his voice dripping with playful distrust. "Or did you lace the fabric with something that's going to give me rashes and itching and stuff? Knowing you, this is probably a trap." "Yeah, Sunbae," you gasped, completely offended. "I literally spent my own money on this because I felt guilty. I wouldn't poison a shirt." Sunghoon's lips twitched, fighting back a grin at how easily you were getting worked up. He finally reached out and took the handles of the bag from your hands, his fingers brushing against yours for a brief second. "Fine, I'll trust you for now," he said, peering inside the bag with a curious expression. "Let's see what kind of taste you have." Sunghoon pulled the neatly folded t-shirt out of the bag. The moment his eyes landed on the fabric, he froze. He didn't say a word for a long moment, just staring down at the shirt in his hands. Then he slowly looked up at you, his jaw slightly dropped in absolute, utter disbelief. "YN," he said, his voice entirely flat. "Are you serious right now?" "What?" you asked, suddenly feeling self-conscious. You shifted your weight from one foot to the other. "Is it the wrong size?" Miki swore that was your exact size. "If it's too small, I can—" "No, the size is fine," Sunghoon interrupted, a slow, incredibly amused smirk breaking across his face. He held the new shirt up right next to his chest. "But tell me, does this look familiar to you at all?" You blinked, looking from the brand new chocolate brown t-shirt in his hands to his face. "I mean, yeah, I bought it because it looks exactly like the one I ruined yesterday. I wanted to replace your favorite shirt." Sunghoon let out a sudden, loud laugh, shaking his head as he looked at you like you were the biggest mystery on the planet. "You really have the memory of a goldfish, don't you?" he chuckled, stepping a bit closer. "Hey, why are you insulting my brain when I just gave you a gift?" you complained, crossing your arms. "Because YN," Sunghoon said, leaning down slightly so he was looking directly into your eyes, his smirk widening. "The reason yesterday's shirt was my favorite is because you bought it for me last year, for my birthday, as an apology for another mistake you made." Your jaw dropped, your mind scrambled backward through your memories, and suddenly, a hazy image of a birthday gift bag from exactly 12 months ago flashed in your mind. "Wait," you whispered, your eyes widening in horror. I bought that one too." He neatly tucked the t-shirt back into the shopping bag, looking down at you with a gaze that was suddenly much softer and warmer than before. "But, thank you," he murmured, a genuine smile replacing his smirk. Sunghoon chuckled, turning his back to you as he began heading toward the boys' dorm building right across from yours. "Hey, wait," you called out, stopping him in his tracks. He paused, looking back over his shoulder with an amused expression. "But why was that shirt your favorite?" you asked, genuinely curious now that the truth was out. You tilted your head, looking at the bag in his hand. "Do you just really like that style? Is brown your favorite color or something?" Sunghoon turned fully around to face you again. He didn't answer right away. He took a slow step backward toward you, holding the bag a little closer to his side. "About the style, YN," he said softly, a quiet laugh escaping his lips. "And brown definitely isn't my favorite color." "Then why?" you pressed, completely clueless. Sunghoon raised his free hand, gently flicking your forehead with his index finger. "Because it was the very first thing you ever gave me, even if you only bought it out of guilt back then too." He held your gaze for a second longer, watching the realization hit your face before he finally turned back around. "Go inside, goldfish," he called out over his shoulder, waving the shopping bag in the air as he walked away. "And try not to forget this one by next year." You turned back towards your dorm building, your fingers gently rubbing the spot on your forehead where he had flicked you. A tiny pout formed on your lips, but as you took a few slow steps, your pace began to slacken. You closed your eyes, a sudden montage of the past 12 months flashing through your mind. You had seen Sunghoon wear that specific brown t-shirt countless times. In fact, you had seen him in it so often that your subconscious had naturally registered, "Oh, that's Sunghoon Sunbae's absolute favorite shirt." And that day, when you were carrying that coffee, a chaotic little voice in your head had secretly thought it would be hilarious to accidentally on purpose ruin his absolute favorite thing just to see him fume. You had done it entirely to annoy him, completely oblivious to the fact that you were the one who put it in his wardrobe in the first place. But now, you stopped dead in your tracks, right at the entrance of your dorm. Your hands dropped to your sides as the weight of his words finally crashed over you. It's not about the style, YN, and brown definitely isn't my favorite color, because it was the very first thing you ever gave me.
If he kept it because of you, and if he just looked at you with that insanely soft, gentle smile while admitting it, isn't he basically confessing at this point?
Wait, Park Sunghoon likes me?